Your corporation is in the business of selling consumer goods into Canada, then this video is for you. Hey, how are you? I'm Duncan McPherson and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you how easy it is for your US company to get caught by the long reach of our Canadian tax system, aka taxable corporate nexus. Because once you're selling into Canada, you likely need to file and possibly, but not necessarily, pay tax here. If you don't know when you're caught and the CRA catches you, then it's a quick trip to the penalty box. Damn those Panthers. I've previously told you some of this stuff before, but I'm going to be pretty industry specific for you today. And as always, for more tips on how you can better navigate the Canadian tax system as a US business, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell. Or skip the hassle and contact me directly at themactax.com for more tailored advice, especially if there's any chance you're going to be doing business up here in the next 2 years, so I can get your US business a Canadian tax ID number, what we call a BIN number or a BIN, BN. Because if you start doing business up here without one, you will be hogtied and probably end up paying penalties somewhere. But I assure you, the hassles from not having a BIN number are a lot worse than the penalties. Just see my other videos on this topic. Okay, so now let's get back to today's topic. So out of curiosity, have you ever wondered to yourself, if I'm selling my products into Canada, do I have to file a tax return up there? Well, maybe you do, or maybe you don't. There are many interconnected variables for you to consider, but too many permutations for you to take time from your business to learn them. And you've got your business to run. All you do really need to know is this. Once you are carrying on business in Canada, you are required to file a Canadian tax return. But even though you're required to file, you may or may not be required to pay tax. The problem you'll run into, though, is the concept of carrying on business. It is such a very broad statement that is very easy for you to get trapped by it. Trust me, I've seen it happen a lot. And FYI, the law is the same in the USA for Canadian businesses, so please don't think we're being harsh up here. As an aside, I am offering you the following, my American friend, to give you a little local context. The concept of carrying on business in Canada became broader for non-residents of Canada after your Wayfair case in the USA. Although the Canada Revenue Agency will never admit that they're using your U.S. case law, CRA's interpretations and policies of the last few years do seem to have Wayfair overtones. But let's get back to the task at hand, shall we? As soon as you think that there is a market up here for your products, give me a call. But for now, let's you and me start from the beginning. How are you soliciting business in Canada? Because I'm telling you, this makes a difference. For instance, do you have an agent up here? If yes, boom, you're carrying on business in Canada. Do you advertise up here? If yes, boom again, you're carrying on business up here. Is your online presence directed at Canadians? And if it is, boom, boom, CRA's interpretation is that you're carrying on business up here. Wayfair. Are you only selling through a third-party portal like Amazon? Okay, in this case here, you may actually not be carrying on business in Canada, provided that you're not soliciting business in any other way up here other than the Amazon website. So don't think Jeff's going to protect you absolutely. Or do you do nothing up here to drum up business and you just wait by the phone for someone to give you a call? Well, all these things must be considered from the start, as they will all affect your tax status. And to make things even more complicated for you, once you have the business, where and how do you ship your products? Is it all from the USA? Or do you have a warehouse up here? Is it your trucks you're shipping it with? Or are you hiring a third-party carrier? Because once you're up here carrying on business, as I have said time and again, you must file a Canadian tax return. But even though you file, your US Corp may or may not be required to pay tax up here. And even if you're not required to file, you still may be required to collect and remit our national sales tax, the GST. As for customs and tariffs, well, if I'm being perfectly honest, nobody really knows at this point, but guess why? Perplexed yet? Well, here's a little relief for you. There are de minimis rules to protect you if your nexus with Canada is minor. And lucky for you, that's what I'm here for. Because you're right, the rules are circuitous, and it's often a puzzle to determine which of our tax laws will apply to you. And you know what? Like I always say, you shouldn't even have to know, because the reality is there are way too many ways that your business could be caught and be required to file and or pay tax. And if you miss filing, then you're going to get CRA letters demanding that you do file, and guess what? Now you're on the radar. Remember, the first rule of tax warfare is the war is won by you never going to battle. And between you and me, I usually win the battle, but it's usually a battle that should never have been fought or that you should ever try to fight alone. Case in point, I constantly have foreign companies come to me that think they don't have to file because they didn't have a physical presence in Canada. Mark my words, this is unsubstantiated logic. Or they'd say, I thought the treaty says I don't have to pay tax in Canada, so I thought I didn't have to file. Bad logic again, my friend. In both our great countries, the tax treaty only gets you out of paying the taxes. Just so you know, the tax treaty does not get you out of filing your tax return in either country. Now, if your company is selling up here, unless it is completely through a third-party portal like Amazon, you're likely going to be filing up here. So what do we do about this? Well, the short answer is you're too focused on your business to do anything, and you can't be expected to be an expert in international tax, correct? The only thing you can know is that when your firm starts thinking about selling into Canada, call me. And if you're already talking to potential Canadian clients, call me faster. I will smooth the bumps in the road. And whether you use me or do it yourself, I will set you up so that your tax compliance is seamless. And I'll make it so you can forget your tax problems because there are none, or there will be none, and you may expand your business in peace. Do not wait till you begin shipping here before you call me. And like I said, if you're already selling it to Canada, that's likely why you're still listening to me. And most likely, you've been telling yourself subconsciously that you do not have any Canadian tax problems. And now your subconscious tax issues just became conscious. Am I right or am I right? One last thing for you to keep in mind. It is quite possible that you'll be required to file corporate tax returns in Canada before your sales have commenced in Canada. And once again, even if you're not required to file or pay tax in Canada, you still may be required to collect and remit our national sales tax, the GST. But either way, as soon as you reach out to Canadian customers or as soon as they reach out to you, call me to assist with you growing your business up here. And you know what, my friend? That's all I got for you today. And just like I said, if this resonated with you and you realize that you might have to talk to me about your situation, just get my number at themactax.com and I'll make sure you don't have to worry about this shit. Of course, as always, don't forget to subscribe for more tax savings tips. Until next time, stay sharp, stay compliant, and stay out of tax trouble. And I'll see you on the next video.